I did a $500,000 job, and in profit, I made $50,000. This job was actually referred to me by a designer, and I did not go out chasing this one. This one came to me with a very high referral, and the homeowner actually sent a bid with one other person, and I came in at $60,000 higher. I know this because the architect gave me the scoop, and the homeowners always build a very close relationship with the architects and designers, and because they're very artistic, the homeowner listens to their suggestions. And even though I was $60,000 higher, somehow I still got it, and I have to give it up as a special thank you to the designer and architect. His name is Matt Daly. Here's his Instagram. So because there's a very tight-knit relationship, the designer said, hire T, you will not regret it. He's going to be there every single day. Yes, he's going to make a YouTube video about it. Yes, he is going to say how much your project costs. Yes, he is going to make dozens and dozens of TikToks, but the advantage that you get with him versus another guy is that he'll show up there every single day. He will be tapped in to the project, and he will make sure that this thing goes smooth. Now, the very first thing we did, obviously, is the demolition. And you see here, it looks like we're building a pool, but we're not. This is going to be a very cool artistic design, and it's a sunken in patio with a pergola. And the most important thing with these sunken in patios is drainage. So first thing you see is us handling the drainage pits. And we were contemplating on having a pump take the water and take it to the front yard, but I decided that if I install two 6x6x8 drainage pits and only have water in that area go to that drainage pit, we'd be fine. And with my calculations, because I'm the best engineer in the world, I was right. So far, we don't know. The winter has not come yet, but I don't think that's going to be that much. And here you see the boys installing the concrete forms. This took a lot of time, a lot of labor. These two dudes are so good at what they do, and there's a huge difference between guys that are concrete finishers and formers. These dudes can do it very well at both, but most importantly, what I find more value in is forming, because the amount of precision and planning you have to do is very important. This black fabric is geotextile fabric. This is cheap insurance. If you've never used it before, I highly recommend it. Charge the homeowner. That's okay. You can charge them, but use it on every single project. If there's ever any movement underground, you're safe, you're covered. We put that fabric everywhere. Every square inch of this entire property, besides the planting areas, we did. Footing was installed first. Now it's time to do the forms for the whole entire retaining wall to hold in the sunken in patio. Now you see here, there are about 100 people. You'd be like, why are there 100 people watching guys pour concrete? Well, this was at a giveaway time, and it lined up perfectly with the schedule. I scheduled this Friday, and everyone came out to see how it's done, and the guys did such a good job. One of the most important things with concrete forming is to never make a mistake, because if you do, it's going to cost a ton of money. Now, to an untrained eye, you might look at this and be like, what are they building? Of course, it's a pool, but it's not. It's a sunken in patio. And right now, the boys are installing forms for floating steps. Now, floating steps are one of the hardest things to make, in my opinion. So much precision, so many things can go wrong. And boy, did things go wrong on these floating steps. As you see right now, they're doing stuff. It takes a lot of labor and a lot of calculation to get these perfect. And you pray, you hope, you pray to every single God you've ever known that it doesn't crack, because if it does crack, you're in big trouble. Now you might be asking yourself, T, that's fantastic. You closed a $500,000 deal. Why did you only make $50,000? Well, let me tell you. To be honest, for this particular job, I bid really high because I know there's so many moving parts, and the level of detail I had to pay attention to is very high, because number one, pavers are white. If you know anything about pavers, white pavers are trouble because they stain easy, they get dirty easy, they're a pain in the ass, and everything has to be looking very pristine. So with that already, that's a red flag. Sunken in patio, we pretty much built a pool. That's a red flag. Two very custom pergolas with electrical, heaters, fans, red flag already. This is all for construction. For design and usability, it's a green flag. It's the best thing on the planet. Amazing. But for construction, super, super hard. You have to do a lot of planning. Like these posts right here, I actually hired a pergola guy that was super professional and has done these so many times. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm in good hands. So he gave me a bid on how to do all these pergolas, and it was like $80,000. So I said, that's a fantastic deal. Awesome. Let's do it. Signed a contract with him. Now, this guy was actually introduced to me by a referral, and I made a mistake, and I didn't walk some of his active job sites, and I didn't really go to his past job sites to verify, because the guy that referred me to him, I trusted. I was like, if this guy uses him, it's going to be a no-brainer. I'm going to use him. Project is going to go fantastic. Well, boy, was I wrong. And the way I figured out that I was in for a treat was he was never on site. And that's one of the biggest red flags. It isn't like the owner of the company doesn't have to be on site all the time, but someone of management. Like you just can't send employees and these guys just figure things out on their own unless it's like pavers. This is simple. You don't need to manage pavers. But something as in fine detail as a pergola, we actually caught the guy installing these posts in a wrong location. And Jose called me right away and said, T, they're not doing things according to the plan. What do we do? And I said, well, go tell him. And he did. And of course, they found out wrong location, obviously. So the owner of the company came out and he's like, oh yeah, I don't know what you guys were doing. Sorry. And I was like, bro, this is pretty important because once these posts are in, we're done. Like I can't have you rip them out after install pavers. And he's like, oh no, it's just a mistake. Sorry, I'll be here next time. I said, okay, fine. Mistakes happen. You got to let it slide. But then I noticed a pattern. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. So obviously the homeowner started getting sick. I started getting sick and tired. And we eventually had to fire the guy. And my guys that are in charge of doing pavers like this and planting, irrigation, lighting, like we're really good at doing pavers and concrete. We are not that good at doing these pergolas until we did this job. Then we had to learn everything. And by the way, that's where that money came in. So the extra 20% that I was going to make on this job, which was at the end of it going to be around $125,000. That is if everything went perfect with the pergolas. But because it didn't, I had to foot the bill and pay tens and tens of thousands of dollars to figure out the labor on this. And if you're wondering why we're taking these pavers out, is because the homeowner didn't like the design. So we installed a hexagon pattern, and he obviously paid for the labor, the materials. That was a very expensive mistake on his part, but they covered the bill. And right there you see we're doing a pretty nice barbecue. We had to figure out how to do all of the wood veneer ourselves. We hired a granite guy, which the granite guys are always awesome. Carpenters are super good at doing what they do, and masons are super good at doing what they do. And we're not carpenters. Wrapping up to the end of the job, I have really found out that management is key for everything. And if you get the right managers in place, if you get the right people in place, your company will explode and you'll have a lot of success. If you want to learn more on how to manage your business better, I'm hosting an event with Grant Cardone December 2nd and 3rd in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we're going to be teaching you how to scale your business and most importantly, hire the best people where you can buy back your freedom. The link is below to the event. The tickets are only $500, very affordable. And the amount of information you're going to learn from there is going to blow your socks off. Scottsdale, Arizona, December 2nd and 3rd. See you there. I can officially say from the depth of my soul, we are done. Now we're going to take a little tour and I'm going to show you some of the cool features and gadgets and pretty sweet things that we installed along the way. Obviously this fence is one of the first things that you see that really pops out and just shows high-end finish. And these lights, these are in-light, super high-end finish on that one. Techo block pavers. Obviously it's a driveway. You see the tire marks. There's really nothing you can do about that. I don't know if white was such a good choice for a driveway, but it is what it is. Okay, concrete, right? Little pebbles, very nice. We have these fancy strip lights. We got these plants, metal edging, which is fantastic. And the first thing you look at when you walk in here is just a big, modern, clean-cut, very neat and organized landscape with many different features. So you have the mahogany wood a very fancy gate, concrete steppers, black beach pebble, TimberTech deck with funky little design right here. And this thing is a Birds of Paradise, which there was a really big Birds of Paradise, like huge, maybe 4 times bigger than this. And I convinced the homeowner to let me take it out and put a new one in. And they did. They accepted, which was great. Boom, boom. This is a 48-inch orange tree that surprisingly bloomed twice. So I don't really know what's up with that. We have a concrete retaining wall that is sunken in. And the first thing you see when you come here is this beautiful, absolutely magnificent countertop. Leathered finished, waterfall. And this is chill. So you can come here, hang out, and have a drink, play on your laptop, get some work done, enjoy the sun, take your shirt off, sunbathe. So, I mean, all in all, this looks fantastic. And the view from behind, like looking at this, is pretty incredible. And we installed fans to keep the flies away, 2 heaters over there. And the cool thing that the homeowner did is he took the liberty himself and getting some speakers. So we got speakers, a great lounging chair where you can come here, hang out with your friends, entertain, lights up top. Great offer. Now you might be wondering too, where's all the water going? Beneath these, there's a 6x6x6 by 8-foot drain pit that goes inside, and any type of water that hits the surface goes directly into here. We have floating steps, which are pretty sweet. And then the cool thing is we have this floating seating bench right here made out of TimberTech, the exact same material that is from the deck, and it wraps around this way. And one of the cool features that the designer, Matt, shout out to Matt, here's his Instagram, we put underglow lights all up and down here. They go here, and then this bench gets wrapped around and it goes into a step, which to me is a fantastic little design. But it was very difficult to build. I charged $20,000 for this step, and it wasn't enough. I should have charged probably $30,000 to be honest. There was so many difficult things that we had to encounter building these steps. Definitely harder than it seems to do a floating bench step. Floating concrete steps with lights inside, and you come over here, and there is a paver patio with another pergola. And this homeowner likes to do like elliptical cardio. So under here is his elliptical, and then he jumps on here every morning and does his little deal. And then the cool thing is he has a fan. But the only problem is we wanted to build this higher, but the electrical lines are almost hitting the roof of this. So we couldn't really go any higher than that. That is what it is. Another apple tree. Very nice. This might be a pear tree. I might cap. This is literally almost 4 feet tall. These are going to be insane in about 3-4 months. Another orange tree, and then walking this way, we have these trees. 1, 2. We have an apple tree right here, which I have been taking some of them, and I probably will take another one before we leave. Homeowner probably won't like me doing that, but I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. This was insanely hard to build. I outlawed Applewood from ever installing wooden posts. This is the last wooden post that we've ever going to install for fences in our life. If the customer doesn't want to pay for a metal post, I will not install the fence. Because every single time we install a wooden post, there's always problems. This was one of the coolest projects. Shout out to the homeowner, shout out to the designer. Most importantly, shout out to the Applewood team. They crushed it. Even though we had so many setbacks with subs disappointing us, we still got the job done. The pergolas look insane. This looks insane. Everything is beautiful. Thank you very much. Leave a comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Leave some hate. That's okay. If you're going to leave some hate, go ahead. Drop in the comments. If you think you could have done better, tell me. If you think I did a good job, tell me. Later.